Alright, here's the latest going on in the world of the atomic comic pile. Remember Tiempos Finales from Kikli? Well, I got the second issue number 2. Let's see what happens inside. Oh, he looks old. Oh, okay, there's 2 of them. So there's the full artwork. Pretty cool. Wow, zombies, right? It is said that this well was the first in the history of San Pablo. All of its people drew fresh water from it until a massive earthquake caused it to go dry. The townspeople became bitter, having to search for new springs. They cursed this well and made wicked offerings at its altar, Stimpy. One of these rituals, the offering of the dead well. Woo! Look at that. Wow. Talk, 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 talk. And here comes the cool guy. Can't remember his name from the first issue. I wonder if it's Tiempos Finales, or if that means something else. I don't know. I didn't Google it. And I don't speak Espanol, so I couldn't tell you.
Get out.
No, I was led here to tell you that your time has ended, demon. Time to go to the abyss. Oh, it's like one of those Science Fair Project volcanoes.
Curse you, human!
Whack! Look at that. Bam! Upside down, right through something. No weapon formed against me shall prosper.
Oh, it just did. And now you will die.
Chasing him through the town. Chomp, chomp. Ahura, Corneo! I just want a little taste. Oh, he's calling for the old dude up on the roof. Up on the roof. That ninja stuff. Chopping off the heads. Yeah, he takes them low while he has the high ground. What a cool shot right there. They're like Spanish samurai. Ooh. Right into the neck stalks. Yikes. Wow. This is like disgusting. His name is Mario. He lights the match on his cheek scruff. Boom. This is very cool looking. But look, he drew me a sketch. Encarnacion. Oh, and he included a sketchbook. That's cool. And a print. Look at that. Wow, very cool. Yeah, that's everything so far. Oh, and, I said that I've bought, he's done G.I. Joe artwork, paintings, print packs, and I showed those before. Well, he's got a new one coming out. It's called the 1986 print pack. As of now, he has 6 of the 20 completed, and I've pre-ordered the set. It's more expensive than anything else he's put out, but I can't go without it, so I'll be looking forward to that arriving when he finishes. Now, I've talked about my local comic store. Well, the very first time I went in there, years before I got my weekly pull service, I was looking through old back issue bins, and I found these tiny comics. You see how these are tiny, right? Here's a full-size comic, okay? So we've got Drawn Sword and I Love Sushi. And I didn't know why these comics are so tiny, but this I recognize from the cover of the Player's Handbook. And this has, Mario, Strawberry Shortcake, Optimus Prime, Yoda, Papa Smurf. And they were both from the same guy, so I figured, hey, why not? Let me give it a shot. So these are created and drawn by a guy named Karl Kuras, and this collection is an intro, issue 0.5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then black and white, and extras, all from 2002 to 2007. Now this was a web comic, and it is collected together and put out as this tiny trade paperback. Very cool. Look, you can see I've shown this before. You printing stuff on with Kablam. And this I Love Sushi, same thing. Karl Kuras. This is 2004 to 2009, and this also was a web comic. And as you can see here, printed through Kablam. Now, I looked up this guy, Karl Kuras, and he lives right here in town, Cape Coral, just like me. And he works in Fort Myers, just like me. He is a criminal defense attorney. And he also has a video game podcast. He's 2 years younger than me, and I guess he does webcomics and prints them. And I remember the comic store guy saying, hey, it's a local guy. He wanted to see if these would sell through the store. So, well, they did. They sold to me. Karl, I've got them. Now, speaking of local stuff, that comic I showed in one of my previous videos, Solar Flare, that takes place in Fort Myers, and the Count Dante series that are from the comic company Scout Comics. I just found out Scout Comics has 3 locations: New York City, Los Angeles, and Fort Myers, Florida, right here. You know, if local guys working on stuff, things like Kablam, allowing you to just print your own comics, a place like Scout Comics putting out comics like Count Dante are all right here. What is stopping me from putting out my own comic? Well, I'm my only barrier. So I need to start working on something. Also, talking about my local comic store, I went in and so it's owned by a guy, and then he has 2 younger people that kind of work the counter for him a lot. One is a young guy and one is a young girl. 90-something% of the time, it's the young guy. Every once in a while, it's the young girl. The young girl rang me up a couple weeks ago. She said, hey, do you have any store credit? And I remembered I got a text months ago that said I had $25 store credit. And I said, sure, I'll use this. And she said, okay, just type your phone number in that little, thing right there and get credit for what's left over for today, everything you bought today. And then we use your $25 store credit. So I did that, and then it gave me another $5 store credit just on what I bought that day. And I realized that when I first got my pull service, they had me put my phone number in that thing. And my purchase that day got me that $25 store credit. That day, that was the store owner. And here, now it's the young lady checking me out, reminding me of this. In between, it's all been this young guy who never said a thing. Turns out, if I had typed in my phone number on that little thing at the register every single week, I would have been accumulating store credit. Now, I must have spent over $1,000 at least in between the 2 times. And it would have been, I don't know what it is, but I think like $100 store credit for I think it's like 10%. You know what? That's on me. Maybe I wasn't paying attention. It's okay. You're not guaranteed extras in life, but this place is giving it to me, and I put my number in every time now, and I'm accumulating more credit, and here we go. It's just another perk, But before we go, I showed you, of course we covered G.I. Joe in previous videos, but this just came out. A reprint of issue 1 from Skybound, which is an imprint from Image Comics, and it came out the same day, November 15th, as issue 301. Okay, like I showed before, issue 300 was the final issue. So G.I. Joe went from issues 1 to 155 through Marvel Comics, all written by Larry Hama. And years later, IDW picked up the license. They got Larry Hama back, and they continued the issue numbering at 156 on up to 300. Then it came to an end, I don't know, like 6 months ago or something. Here's my copy with the dual signatures. And I said, now Image has picked up the rights, and they were bringing Larry Hama back and going to continue it again with the same numbering. Here it is, issue 301. It has come out, and it came out with this reprint of issue 1, but there's something special about this issue, you see? Inside, Larry says there was one thing that always bothered him about this issue, and it was that the editors had changed a bit of his dialogue, and it's stuck in his craw all these years, since 1982. And here it is in 2023. They've put it back to its original dialogue, and I'll show you what it is. So right here is the dialogue that we have always seen in the printed version that has been changed by the editorial staff. What is our job? We're soldiers. Our job is to follow orders, to do the impossible, and make it look easy. And here is the original script as written by Larry Hama and now put out in this reissue. What is our job? We're soldiers. Our job is to do the unthinkable and be forgotten. So there you go. And one last G.I. Joe related thing I had shown in a previous video, the comics put out by the guys from Cartoonist Kayfabe, including that GoBots trade paperback from Tom Scioli that I got at my original comic store years before I ever heard of Cartoonist Kayfabe. Well, that trade paperback was a collection of his first professional work. And when it came out simultaneously as his current monthly issues that he was working on then, and it was this Transformers versus G.I. Joe, Tom Scioli, and they were on issue 5, and I got this at the same time just because I saw the cover and I saw Tunnel Rat's fantastic journey to the center of the earth with Fortress Maximus from Transformers and G.I. Joe, and I was like, I know it's issue 5, but this looks so cool, so fun, so awesome. I have to buy it, and maybe one day I'll get the other issues, but if I don't buy it, I'll forget it exists. Well, he did finish the run, and that is now in a trade paperback, and I still haven't read this yet, but I'm going to have to get that trade paperback to see the story. Oh, and I also found a new comic book YouTube channel to subscribe to, and I have been watching everything in their backlog. It's called The Comic Palace. It's just a comic store in Massachusetts, and they've been filming for a couple of years, and I find it very entertaining. So it's funny because each of the comic book YouTube shows that I watch, they all kind of like and hate the opposite stuff that each other on other channels like and hate. It's pretty funny because, of course, my tastes don't match any of theirs. So gives you some perspective of how, what you think is great, someone else, that may be the thing they despise. And the thing they love, you look at it, you read it, you see the art, whatever it is, and you go, that is garbage. So to each his own. Until next time.